Good evening. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for Monday, the 20th of May, 2024, getting on at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So as we look at the markets, you're down about $8 in the gold, 40-some-odd cents in the silver. You're up about 3 cents in the copper and down $5 in the platinum. Now, you were up dramatically higher this morning in the gold, the silver especially, and the copper. And they all gave that up. In fact, the gold market went from higher to lower and then back and held on a bit. The silver market was just a wild ride from the upside to the downside. And the copper, well, the copper market got up near the 520 level or so, and then it broke back very hard. In fact, it got lower on the day. And what's going on? Well, news is that copper is on its way for delivery into the CME group, the COMEX warehouses, and that will take care of deliveries on a squeeze play that some of the very large firms got caught in. But remember, you can bring in all the copper you want to be able to deliver on the contract so that you're able to figure out your finances, and you generally don't make money on that deal unless they sold it way up, and they didn't. They're bringing it in because it's better than taking the cash loss. They may have the copper bought somewhere else and it's a balance sheet item. Whatever they're doing, these companies, we have shortages, and that's what you've got to pay attention to. Energy market stable, and today was a very quiet day overall. Other than the metals, markets were actually metals and one market, the wheat. The wheat market was up nicely today too, but everything else pretty quiet overall. Let's take a look and see what we've got. By the way, I want to remind you, my gold report. If you want to catch my gold report, today is the last full day. It'll be off sometime on Tuesday. I don't know the hour that it comes off. The computer just takes it off. It could be 12:01 tonight. It could be 7 in the morning, but it's coming off tomorrow. The report is iraepstein.com. Under the word research, go there and you will see the gold report. I talk about the gold market in detail, GLD as well. Then we go into the weekly charts, the daily charts, the seasonality of the 30, the 15, the 5-year, what the markets are doing, and where the price counts carry the market. So today's the last full day if you haven't seen it. But when you look at the market, you're back up to the 24.30 level. You're up $12 at this point for the week. You can see how the market shot up today, got to 24.54, and it's back down to 24.30. Not a real big break, but what the market's really done is it's come into this old high area from right here, and it's running into a bit of resistance. That's the only thing that you can say about it that's negative in any manner. The pattern is still bullish, higher lows and higher highs. The market is over, as you can see here, the 18-day average of closes, which gives it the upside bias, and the trend is up. And you ran into the buzzsaw of the upper Bollinger Band, which often contains the market. That doesn't mean it can't just sit on that and move itself higher. So there's nothing bearish. I do think the pros are taking some money off the table, and I think they'll bail if you don't embed. Bail just means they'll take more money off the table. Supports all the way back at $23.55. That's $80 lower. That's not going to be an easy tell to get to. When you look at the gold-silver ratio, you can see how the market's getting a little bounce, so maybe the silver has gotten ahead of itself and needs to correct. Silver today got to $32.75. You're right now at $31.99. Does that give you an idea of the craziness? You did have a series of days over the upper Bollinger Band. I say the market's fighting to get back to the right-hand side, but if it embeds, and let's see if it will. You can't count tonight because we don't know how Tuesday's going to finish. But you know what Monday did? Both numbers were over 80 on Monday, and both numbers were over that on Friday. Were they on Thursday? No. So tomorrow tells us if you embed, and if it embeds, I have a different posture I take on the market that is much more aggressive on the buy side until the red line closes under 79. Overall, the chart is very bullish. It could be ahead of itself. It showed that today when it got to the 32.75 level, and it came down and down hard. I'm sure traders that are trading this are going, oh my gosh, how much is it going to move? Because I think they're going to raise the margins on it, in fact, because it's so volatile right now. In the copper market, you're running the Bollinger Band. So this is what I was just telling you. Markets don't have to stay over the band. They can stay under it. But when they lock in against it, you don't want to fight with that. It's difficult to buy because you don't generally stay over the upper Bollinger Band. So buying the band is difficult. And you have absolutely no reason to be short. So you're either in the market or you're waiting for another play to come to you. In the platinum market, you had an outside day to the downside, and now you're losing the bullish embedded reading. So as I said to you last week when we were talking on the daily chart, I think the pros are taking money off the table. I think they've done that. And if you lose the embedded reading, they may well be looking for it to return eventually to wherever the 18-day average is as prices fall and maybe that number comes up. This is certainly a warning sign. Any close under 79, and it's a 76.66 tonight. That will not be a pretty sign. Be wary of the dollar. We get a lot of foreign news on wages, inflation coming at us, and you're going to get that over the next 48 hours. So be a bit cautious. I would be looking very hard at, number one, an oversold market that if it takes out the highs of Friday, Friday's high, not today's, which was 104.54, but Friday's of 104.68.5, that might cause some short covering in the market, and you could easily get back to the 18-day average. If the market doesn't take that out, well, you know the first support level is the Bollinger Band, which you hit and you've bounced away from. You did that last Thursday, in fact, and now what you're looking at is the next combination of support at 103.67 to 103.79, let's call it. And the argument that the market's looking for, and it hasn't been answered, is if the U.S. holds pat on interest rates for longer and the European Central Bank cuts their rate, what does that mean for the dollar? Is that bullish or bearish the dollar? Normally, I would view that as being bearish for the euro and bullish for the dollar. We'll see. But 57%, nearly 58% of the dollar index is made of the euro. So if the euro drops, wouldn't that take the dollar down? Got it? That's what you're fighting right now. So you got to be very careful with all that type of thinking. Want to remind you that I discussed this and a heck of a lot more with specific. Buy here. I want you to sell there. I want you to have a stop in. Here's the fundamentals. Here's some ideas that I have for you. And I cover it in the futures and the stocks and ETFs. I start at 6 in the morning. I'm typically got it published for you right after 6:30, 6:45. The charts will look this way. They'll be in jet black and more studies than you see. There'll be 40 plus futures charts that we look at and 40 plus stock, spider, and ETF charts. Sometimes we're looking at daily. Sometimes we mix daily with weekly, trying to come up with ideas. My special reports are included. Always types of entry, objectives, where the market might go. So treat yourself. Give it a try. Go to iraepstein.com under the word research and pick the ones that you want. You'll see the whole list of what we got. This is the same area where my gold report is at. So everything's right there. You can also move your cursor right to the top here and it'll take you there as well. I'm Ira. I'll catch up with you all in the morning. You have a great evening.